Welcome back to Callahan's Corner, where you ask the questions, answer them live right here on Facebook. Got a massive Facebook Live coming together. Probably going to be overdoing it in the mindset of abundance, but a lot of people reaching out, way more to even pull up in Facebook posts across all the different Facebook groups that we're in, and clients and leads calling in to ask questions. So I'm going to dig in really deep here. If you don't have time, definitely come back and watch the whole entire thing. But I'm going to literally open up my playbook for the lawn care company, Simple Growth, now Simple Estimate, how we're going out and breaking seven figures in a very predictable manner. But what we're going to be looking at is going out how to go out and forecast your sales goal, your marketing spend, all the stats, project your cancellations, and your client acquisition payback. So how long does it take to actually get the money back and make back your actual marketing spend when you're going out there? So these are the anomalies. A lot of folks come and say, hey, Mike, I want to be at $1 million. I want to be at $2 million. I want to go from a couple 100,000 up to maybe 750. It doesn't matter the size of your business. This is literally going to be the math and the framework you need to build in your business to go out to scale to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, or even well beyond. So without any further delay, I'm going to open this up. Any comments or questions, drop below, but I'm going to literally open up my playbook, how to break seven figures and well beyond, looking at setting sales forecasting and goals for accountability, marketing spend, client acquisition, recovery, and a few other things. This is going to be your playbook for this year. This is one you're going to want to bookmark. Any comments or questions, drop them below. But buckle up. Here we go. This should be a good one. So what we've got here is a Google Sheet. I've opened it up in a larger area. I'm going to swing this over to the right. But the first thing we're going to be doing is setting our sales budget for the upcoming season. Just to make this a little more simplistic and easy, I'm doing this as a company in, say, Southern Florida that actually works 12 months around. If you're in the North, like myself, a lot of our other clients, we're going to forecast the different months, but this is going to be the formulas for the compounding revenue that we're looking at. I'm going to be doing this just for a basic example of mowing. This applies for lawn mowing, fertilization, perimeter pest, any of the other services. So what we've got here is some areas that the client is, or the company yourself is going to fill in. But what we're going to do first is create our baseline goals, our budget. So we're going to say on average, our mowing is $65 per cut. So on average, we average all our residential mowing together. On average, there's $65 a cut. We need a baseline to base this goal off of. So what we're going to create is a monthly budget here on this line for the number of new monthly recurring MRR lawn mowings at an average of $25 a cut, or $65 a cut. Now, there's been also a lot of questions about prepaid discounts and how does that affect your budget. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here and put this in here. Full transparency, I do not recommend prepays unless it's a dire cash flow need. I'm going to show you why later today. I think you can actually go out right now in today's economy and get the money cheaper, get a quick loan or whatever that looks like, line of credit, and then replace that, because you're going to be losing probably 5 to 10%, probably 10% of your profits. And you're going to see a really staggering number here at the end. Money's going to be cheaper than actually self-financing yourself. But that's a conversation for later. But what we've got here is in January, we've projected 21 new mowings from our marketing. Our sales team is going to be responsible for that. And we budgeted 5 prepays. Don't recommend prepays, but I'm going to put this in here so you can see the math. So from left to right, we're going to go out and set up our budget, our sales budget for our services. So you may have monthly recurring mowing, fertilization, and perimeter pests. Once again, we're going to hopefully create a simple business with 3 to 5 core services, because you're going to see how complex this can get if you have a multitude of services. But the idea here is in the sheet, we're going to set our numbers here of 21 cuts, billed weekly, and 5 prepaid. We're going to scroll out here and set our entire monthly sales goal for the whole entire year. So right now in this fictitious Simple Lawns company, we're projecting to get 428 new lawn mowings that are billed weekly and a total of 20 prepaid. Now the prepays happen in the early part of the year to ramp up some cash flow. Once again, don't recommend it. You'll see the math why. We're basing this at average of 70 or $65 a cut. So we set our budget here. Now, if you remember the 5 stages of business, and the biggest growth hurdle, stage number 3, is our sales. Someone needs to be going out full-time or part-time, and all they do in that time is literally have a set budgeted goal like we hear, and it's budget versus actual. And they're doing all the sales and hitting that goal and held accountable during that time. Traditionally, what we find is most business owners are doing the sales because they're unwilling to delegate. So they're doing a lot of sales and doing a lot of work, and then they run out and they start selling again. What we want to do is create a consistent process so we can actually have budget versus actual and time remaining for our salesperson, whether it's you or somebody on your team. So if you're building a sales team, I'm literally opening up our playbook, how we're growing 35 to 40% year after cancellation. It's simple growth and very similar, if not actually higher in the lawn care company. So we've created our budgeted of sales here based on our $65 a cut. We're going in. So if we're following the end of the month here, our salesperson daily is updating this. So they have sold 9 mowings at $65. And we sold 5 prepays, and the monthly total achievement would be 24. So in this example here, I'm going to back some math in here so this actually works. And I'm going to say we sold 10 of those, and actually make that 15. All right. So what we've got here, we set a goal of 21 monthly or weekly billings and 5 prepays. So we've hit the goal here at 17, or actually we're actually short of our goal, and we've actually come into our actual prepaid new at 5. So we hit that goal. So our monthly achievement is 22 lawns, and what we're going to do is pull some math in here to add those up. So we've hit 22 lawns. So what we've got now is our annual ARR cash flow with a 10% prepaid discount here is we're taking the prepay of 5 times our 65 times 12 months of cutting in there, or 12 cuts basically, but we can go in and add how many cuts. So we're just doing this per month basis here. And then our monthly recurring cash flow would be our D5, which is going to be our new MRR, which is going to be our D4 right here. And that's going to be our total cuts times 65 right there. So what we're doing, assuming just in the math right now, is 1 cut a month, but obviously we'd bump that out to 4.33. So we have the math. I'm trying to keep the formula simple if you guys are following these online. But the math is going to work here. So the total number of lawns sold, we've got 22. Cash flow based on our monthly, our weekly billing. So our new cash flow per month is $48.75. And this goes from left to right all the way across the screen. This is the important part. So what we've done is driven our budgeted number of $13.65 in. And that's going to go right back up to our sheet here, what we budgeted, the $13.65. So that pulls in the actual new sales is the $32.78. So the difference between the goal and the actual here is we're positive $1,900. And our budgeted prepay are right on button here. So we budgeted for 5 and we hit 5. So if we had budgeted for 4, we were $58.50 off. Or if we budgeted for 5 and hit 4, we were actually off. But the idea is if we update the real numbers, we can see the delta of if we're hitting the reoccurring weekly sales and the annual recurring sales. So this is what we're going to recommend here. If you're just joining us, I just base this as 1 mowing per month. Obviously, you'd want to base that at 4.33 mowings per month. And I base this on a 12-month rolling process. You need to adjust this for obviously your business and the seasonality. The interesting thing is once we go in, as far as the cash flow, those prepaids are going to be prepaid and only hit that revenue when they actually are sold here. What we've also had to do is go in and say, okay, the new monthly reoccurring is actually compounding out, because as we sell more, we get more sales. That compounds out. That's like a subscription revenue. So we need to go in and figure that out. So what we've got here is our sales budget, the actual we fill in weekly, and then we've got 2 areas for our reoccurring, build monthly or build weekly for the mowing, and then we've got our prepay. So actual versus budget. And we've got our revenue goal, and we're at 240% because we beat the goal. Everything else is at 0% on there. And we could also go in and set up the remaining revenue goal for the prepay as well. But the idea is you've got your budgeted for the prepay and the budgeted for the weekly billing or monthly billing, but you're billing per cut. And we're going to set in a cadence where the estimator can put in the actual, and it calculates against the budget you started for the year. So big idea here, the sales goal is we want to set our sales goal, take it on an average cut, formulate what the basically the subscription revenue is going, or per cut revenue versus the prepaid, get that all in there, and then have the ability for the salesperson to update this daily and have a percentage of actual to revenue. And you probably want the percentage of time left as well. So we're going to set up our budget and we're going to track this daily. In addition, we want to go in and take a look at if there was any accounts that were paused, but most importantly, the churn. How many people canceled? versus the actual. So we're going to say on average, we're going to lose 4 accounts a month, and we've lost now 6. So we are -2 to the budget. That's the next piece. So we set our sales goal with accountability of percentage to goal and percentage of time left. Now we've projected our churn, actual versus budget. Next piece is our salesperson should be going in every week and updating this. How many sales were made? So if there was a total of 10 sales made this month or this week, 2 of those were upsells. Estimates sent were, let's just say, 40. How many sales were won? We had a total of 12. And then we would have a closing percentage in here of 12 divided by our 40 sales. So we can track the closing percentage versus the budgeted percentage. So that is going to be the next area that we're looking at. So we've set our sales goal. We're tracking budget versus actual for reoccurring or for weekly billing for the mowing and prepay. And now we've also set up a tracking mechanism for accountability for the salesperson of sales made, upsells made, existing customers, estimates sent, won and lost won sales, and closing percentage. We've got this all budgeted. So now we're driving a cadence. As we scroll down after we get past week 5, if we need it, simple lawns. This is going to be our marketing piece and our client acquisition, our CAC recovery cost. So how long does it take to recover the cost of client acquisition? So we've got last week in here, and this is an example of what it would look like. So I've broken it into 3 areas. You may have more areas, but you want to look at this non-emotionally. So organic videos on social. This is something that was very big with SimpleGrowth, obviously, and the lawn care company. Garrett Matthews at Matthews Tree and Lawn, or Pest and Lawn out in Shreveport, Louisiana, started doing the organic content that we do here. Same time we did at Callahan's Lawn Care. Huge investment of time, but there is a massive return on your time. So what we're doing is tracking the organic videos on social. We generated 10 leads. It requested, after we talked to them, we got 9 estimates. One of those potentially was out of the market area. We generated 2 sales. Internal marketing emails and postings. So this could be from your automations. This could be from any of the things that you're doing, newsletters in your business. So fictitious here, we've generated 4 leads. They were all qualified because they're in our database. We had 4 estimates and we closed 1 sale off that. Then we did outbound calls to our Facebook leads. So maybe we had some information, download the best tips for the best looking lawn on the street, but it was a free kind of giveaway or opt-in, or transfer over to Facebook Messenger is another way you could do this. But basically, we're outbound, reaching out to the leads that contacted us organically from Facebook. I had 95 of those. We had 95 estimate requests. And this could be inbound as well. So this would probably be more inbound calls from organic as I'm looking at this. But 95 of them met. We closed 45 sales. So if we add these up, we had 109 leads generated. Out of those, 108 were qualified for an estimate, and we made 48 sales. Our marketing costs, based on the employees and the salespeople in this area, came out to be $1,900 for the week. And the client acquisition cost was $39.62, and the cost paid per lead was $17.45. So these are the statistics that we would want. And our closing percentage from our organic social videos in this example is 44%. So we know, based on certain postings, if we have this is statistically what we should have each week or each month throughout the year. And obviously the seasonality is going to change. You want to track it. But the main thing is we know what it costs us to acquire a client through organic social content. In this example, it ran about $39 and each lead ran $17.45. Each marketing area is going to be different. Next area is so we did our free organic posting for content there. So we want to go in and take a look at our Facebook paid leads. So what we've done here this week in this example is we've generated 10 leads. It's requested 7 estimates. We made 5 sales. Our marketing cost itself was $150 in ad spend. And we've now, in this example, hired an agency to run those ads at $692 for the week. So our total marketing cost all in is $843 for the week. And our client acquisition cost, since we got 5, we divided that out. It cost us $168 to get a new client on Facebook for paid ads, and the average cost per lead was $84. These numbers for client acquisition cost through paid or SEO are actually not too out of whack in a lot of markets. So if you're looking at the video and saying, wow, $168 for a new client, we have people paying a lot more. But the idea is we want a consistency example. So John Ptoshnik of the Lawn Care Millionaire get a great analogy here where there's a vending machine, your perfect client sitting in there. So if I know our perfect client on a Facebook ad is sitting there, on average, it's going to cost me $168.60 $0.63. So every time I put that in the top, that client kicks out. That's the consistency to grow the business that we need to dial into these numbers. So now we've got organic posting that's running about $39 a client. Client acquisition for paid Facebook ads is running $168 per client. And then we're going to do some offline. So first, we're going to go out and cast our digital net across our market and basically market to our whole entire market. Then we're going to go into offline marketing, which would be our door hangers or something similar to that. And we're going to canvas certain neighborhoods to build route density. We've started to get new sales in, or in between the neighborhoods we have density to build more density. The process here is we're going to go out and we're going to drop 2,500 flyers. Now, some of the rough statistics that I traditionally see is every 25 flyers or so ballpark is going to convert into a lead. Now, that may be in some markets, every 50 to 75 flyers may convert into a lead, but that's a 4% engagement on that. Here. And that's some of the stats I've built out in this example. So I put it a little on the higher side. If you're not seeing those results, don't panic. You could see closer to 1 to 2%. It's a lot of flyers to drive those leads, but it may be a little bit cheaper lead. So what we've done is we've generated 100 leads off our 25 flyers, 2,500 flyers we've dropped. Out of those, 90 were able to require an estimate that we could actually service. We've made 5 sales, and our marketing cost was $150. So actually, I've double dipped here in this example. So we're going to leave that where it is because we've taken our labor here at $625. So we figured we could do about 100 flyers an hour. We're paying the individual labor with labor burden $25. So that's going to be $625 in labor to actually get those out. And the printing cost at 10 cents a piece, just ballpark, is $250. So altogether in our new marketing cost is going to equal $875. Our client acquisition cost now is 175. On our Facebook was 168. These are realistic numbers, and a 4% conversion to a cold door hanger is probably pretty high. So this could be cut down by all the way down to 1%. So that could actually be even more expensive on this. So our cost per lead here is 875, which is going to be our number of leads divided by our total ad spend. So these are our numbers now for our closing percentage for door hangers. So as we're looking at this, we've got total averages here. So we've generated 219 leads. We've gotten 205 estimate requests out of that, and we've generated 58 sales. Our total marketing spend across organic, paid Facebook ads, and door hangers was $3,600 for the week. Our client acquisition cost on average was $127.75, and our cost per lead was at 36. So our closing percentage right here on average was 28%. Door hangers was 5.5 point per 6, 71% on paid ads, and 44% on our organic leads. So obviously these are somewhat fictitious numbers, but this is the math that you want to start driving in your business. So once we have all that in, we now have the ability up to the top here to set a sales budget on the number of weekly billings and prepays, how much revenue that's going to generate. The sales team, the salesperson can go in and plug in how many actual weekly billings for mowing we have or prepays, the monthly achievement, and then the formulas are going to calculate what's the annual recurring revenue or cash generated up front for the prepays, the monthly reoccurring revenue based on the mowings, and the net new cash flow. So I've kept this very simple as just one mowing per month, but obviously you need to dial that in times 4.33. And only in the months you're working. But I wanted to show a very basic math example as I rebuilt some of our sheets. And then we've got our budgeted monthly recurring. So that's our weekly mowing budget to goal. So we're over budget there in a good way, like we've beaten it. And we've just hit our goal dead nuts pretty much within 50 cents for our prepays. And our percentage of remaining revenue to goal. We'd also want a percentage of revenue or per time left in the month as well. We're going to track our projected cancellations versus actual. We're going to have our sales team actually talk about the sales made, the upsells made, the estimate sent, won, and closing ratio each week so we keep them on track. And as we get to the bottom, we're going to track our marketing sources based on leads generated, estimate requests, sales, marketing costs, client acquisition costs, and cost paid per lead. These are going to get us all the stats that we need. Final part that I want to break down is if we were billing it per cut, the average price was $65. Our average profit margin is 15% for our maintenance division. The profit per cut is $10. It is going to take us 7 mowings, or based on 4.33 months in a month, it's going to take us 1.5 months to recover the marketing cost on average of $127.75. So that is going to be the recovery it's going to cost. So you're basically going to be doing this lawn for free for 7 mowings if you build it per cut. If you give a 10% prepaid discount on those particular lawns with the same exact math, your profit is now $3 per cut. It takes you, instead of 7 mowings, 20 mowings to recover, or 4.62 months in time to recover that client acquisition cost. So if you do the math, my feeling is it's going to be cheaper to go out and acquire capital, or use a savings account that you're hopefully building through a profit first methodology. We like to call that the cash war chest. But once we do that, it is going to be significantly cheaper to acquire and become cash flow positive in a profitability way with billing weekly on a credit card after the job's done. So comments, questions, drop them below. We've just literally walked through in the last 22 minutes how to build out a budget, how to hold your sales team accountable, how to track it, how to track your lead sourcing with close ratio, how to look at your lead acquisition cost, client acquisition cost, and the time to recover your client acquisition costs. Comments, questions, drop below. Callahan's Corner. You ask the questions, we answer them live right here on Facebook.